For over a decade now, I've been struggling to make it as a game developer. And I've done it all. Work for hire, selling Unity assets, doing a Kickstarter campaign, developing my own entertainment games, helping out other game devs, submit for governmental grants, and I did it all. For over 10 years with my own indie game studio, and now for almost a year as a solo game developer.
Vision fogged up, can't see left or right.
In spring 2014, I quit my job and decided to start my own game studio. During college, I always developed websites as a side hustle, so for me it was very obvious that the game studio would start out doing work for hire jobs. And with an amazing amount of sheer luck, we landed 2 amazing gigs that propelled us into the future. This decision to fully focus our business plan on doing work for hire, combined with the massive amount of luck, gave us this one very important thing: a monthly salary to live on. Now, this may sound a bit silly, but at the time, a lot of indies in the Netherlands focused on creating their own entertainment games, building their passion projects, while still living in their parents' basements. But for those studios, inevitably at some point the money ran out and, well, most of them had to quit the industry. Obviously, not all failed, some actually succeeded and are currently thriving, which of course is absolutely amazing. However, knowing that I had an okay monthly salary to, well, semi-depend on, allowed me to also do stuff like move into a nice apartment, buy a motorcycle, maybe buy a car. I may sound a bit materialistic here, which I admit I am, but I mean that I could do all the stuff that moved me forward in life, which, when I look back at it, has been the #1 core principle of having my own business. I love being free, doing the work that I only want to do, but it only works for me if I can also depend on making enough money to support myself. So, work for hire gigs, are they worth it? Definitely. Can you do them part-time and do something else, like work on your passion project at the same time? Definitely, though it's very difficult. It'll only work if the jobs allows more flexible time management, and it also makes enough money to support you for the rest of the time. The first few years we worked on these kinds of jobs full time, we needed to make enough money to support the whole studio. The longer my studio and I worked on these kinds of work for hire jobs, the higher we could increase our hourly rate, but we actually never really crossed the threshold to be able to also work on our in-house projects on the side. It wasn't until we got a publisher that wanted to partially fund our passion projects that our studio was able to do less full-time work for hire and dedicate more time to do our own entertainment projects. And the jobs that I did, I mostly really like doing. There's something super rewarding to see a happy client, and no project is ever the same, so there's a lot of variation. One month you're working on a serious game for mobile, and the next month you are neck deep in some VR experience. It can, however, be quite difficult to land the jobs though, and if you don't have a lot of experience yet, it may be even harder. But once you land a few, it becomes easier, and it's definitely a good way to start supporting your game studio financially. By now, you probably already know that I create and sell assets on the Unity Asset Store. Ta-da! And I'm super lucky with the current portfolio of assets and their success, because, well, generally, selling assets on the Unity Asset Store will not generate any money. Really. I've been doing this for over 10 years and most of my $5 assets have reached, well, obscurity and never sold more than once per month. Yay, another free coffee! However, if you do manage to find something that developers really want and you do manage to also get into the popular range of assets, then very cool stuff will start to happen. Ever since the publication of my original FSR2 asset last year, I've been meeting game developers from all over the world, and releasing DLSS, SGSR and XS only influenced that even more positively. Needless to say, expanding my network with all these epic game devs has been very cool and also very useful in landing some very cool side gigs. This video is long, so let's take a little break. Here's a little bit of nice music while we wait, grab a coffee, go to the toilet. And while we're on break, let me please remind you that I would absolutely love it if you could like or dislike this video. Alright, got your coffee, got rid of any excess water in your body. Let's continue. I don't like crowdfunding, or well, I hate crowdfunding platforms. I think it is insane that the platforms like Kickstarter take a 30% revenue cut, while in truth they do very little.
Hi, my name is Dominic and I'm the main programmer of Woven. It is my job to combine all the audio and visual aspects of the game into one solid piece of software. Apart from looking soft and warm, I want the world of Woven also to feel that way. One of the biggest challenges for me was to develop the game into a fun and approachable experience for everyone. This translates into a point-and-click adventure game, where puzzles feel organic and are seamlessly integrated into the world.
If you take all the costs of running the crowdfunding campaign rewards, platform fees, taxes, payment system fees and the client credit card pledges, you receive way less than 50% of the funding target you're looking for. Next to that, nowadays there are so many crowdfunding campaigns that you need to have a massive following already to actually be successful. In all fairness, I think that nowadays crowdfunding campaigns only work for the companies that don't really need the crowdfunding in the first place. They just use it to secure a safe pre-investment instead of putting their own money into it and risk losing it. But talking about risks, building your own entertainment game. To be honest, this option still eludes me. I've created 3 entertainment games. Woven has ended up recouping its full investment budget. Sanity of Moors has been a huge financial mishap.
That's the old passage to Ravenholm. We don't go there anymore.
And City of Springs is in absolute limbo mode and will probably never get published anyways. So a success rate of 0 out of 3 and needing about 6 years of full-time work with a whole team of people for all 3 of these games. I mean, working on these games has been absolutely awesome and I'm very proud of the results, but I'm also very glad that I didn't gamble my whole studio on the success of these games. And I highly recommend everybody to never do that. These entertainment games did open up a lot of doors though. They are a great portfolio piece to show to potential clients, and I've developed a lot of tools which I've been able to reuse over and over again, making me a lot more efficient on whatever development I undertake. So in short, creating my own entertainment games has definitely brought me a lot of opportunities, just not financially. So if you're not going to work on your own games, it may be interesting to join up with another team of developers. It may not be a whole lot different than doing work for hire, but nevertheless it can be an interesting thing to pursue. Things like revenue share instead of an hourly fee could also make more sense in some of these situations. But more importantly, if you are a solo game developer working alongside other game developers, could be a great kickstart to quickly increase the amount of experience that you have. And if all else fails, why not apply for a government grant? A whole lot of game studios don't even know that these massive governmental grants exist. But nowadays most countries are investing a lot of money into maturing their game development scene. Europe does this as well with their yearly renewed 7 million grant. You can ask for up to €150,000 to help fund the prototyping stage of your game. When I learned about this European fund a few years ago, I was shocked that I hadn't heard about it earlier. Even worse, it is so unknown that the chances of actually getting it are so high due to the low amount of requests for it. I actually requested and received it a few years ago. I do recommend hiring a company that will help you request it, as there's a lot of bureaucracy which is often not very easy to traverse as a game developer. Or at least it isn't for me. The company I hired worked on a percentual no pay no cure basis, meaning that they received a percentage of the received funds, but only when I would actually get the grant, which was absolutely great. There's one big issue though. To land these kinds of grants, you generally need to have experience in building games and have successfully published games in the past. Oh, but Dominic, that's all fun. But if you need experience to get a grant like that, how do you even start? How to find and land proper work-for-hire jobs and how to launch a crowdfunding campaign without fans. How to do all these things when you don't have the experience yet. It is such an annoying thing in our society that it seems as if you need to have experience to gain experience. How to land a first work-for-hire job find the publisher for your first game, and how to sell your first asset on the Unity Asset Store. All you need to do is fail upwards. Fail more, fail hard, and then fail some more. And if you did it the right way, then you will notice that after persevering for 10 years, that all these things just became a whole lot easier to reach than when you first started out. I have been working my ass off for the past 10 years, hustling, making deals, failing, succeeding, and being extremely lucky. And slowly, very slowly, I got the experience needed to land the cool jobs, get my passion project published on the consoles, and most importantly to me, be as independent as possible. I should also stress out again the amount of luck that I have had. But since I started out in March 2014, I have been able to get myself a monthly salary, a minimum monthly salary when the times were bad, but a salary nonetheless. And having had this luxury has allowed me to continue failing upwards, which, since I've understood it, has been added to my core principles as the second one. Failing upwards over the past 10 years hasn't always been fun. Oftentimes it has been quite a struggle and very stressful. I often had to work on projects that I really didn't like working on, sometimes also way out of my skill set as a developer, and also slowly degrading my mood. So starting this year, I've added a third core principle: having fun. I think the only way to keep this up in the long run is having fun doing the things that I love. So from now on, if something becomes a chore, I will force myself to either stop doing it for a while or change it up, so it becomes fun again. And there you have it. The true secret of success. Strive to make enough money to healthily support yourself, keep on failing upwards, and have fun while doing it. For now, this is the secret concoction of success. At least it is for me. Hopefully in a few years I'll be able to add a fourth or even a fifth core principle to this, but for now I'll have to make do with these three and see where they will bring me. I hope this video helps you a little bit in how to fund your own game studio or you as a game developer. And don't hesitate to ask any questions you have in the comments below. And well, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And hope to see you again next time.
Well, I woke up with a blurry haze in sight, vision fogged up, can't see left or right. Reflections looking like a stranger's face, need a cure for this eye disease race. My eyes wide shut, I can't see clear, blinking tears can't fight my fear. Looking for a remedy in neon lights, dancing blind through electronic nights. Tried a splash of cold, it didn't heal my sight. Doctor's office under fluorescent light. Prescriptions rolling, speaking words in code. Can't decode this virus overload. My eyes wide shut, I can't see clear. Blinking tears can't fight my fear. Looking for a remedy in neon lights, dancing blind through electronic nights. Glowing screens, they seem a precious treasure, but they only bring this painful pressure. Flickering shadows, making it hard to trust. Trapped in blindness, eyes wide shut. My eyes wide shut, I can't see clear. Blinking tears can't fight my fear. Looking for a